Welcome to the Broadcast Podcast, everybody. This is our new lighting setup. My name is Nazar Sayed. With me always is my co-host,
Ahmed Bashar.
Yes, and what I was talking about with the lighting setup was that we just got a big-ass softbox in front of our face, and I might say, look, it's probably the best we've ever looked.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to us on the audio platforms, then come check us out on YouTube because we're looking beautiful today.
I agree. It's been something that we're trying to work on, which is quality.
Yeah, invest in the best, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the motto. Trying to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be on this podcast.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today?
I think today, so what we've been meaning to talk about for a very long time is Shawn Mendes.
Yes. This is 100% a clout chasing podcast where we kind of were looking for a way to talk about Shawn in a way that didn't make us sound pretentious because full disclosure, we went to school with Shawn Mendes and that's just a fact. You can't change that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just something that we did. And it's always interesting to see someone who you used to be in gym class with to now open at the Grammys and sell millions of albums and play with John Mayer.
Do stadium tours.
Do stadium tours, right? And I guess we got the opportunity to do that when his documentary came out last week.
And his album's coming out as well. So
this Friday. We're recording this on the 2nd of December. I don't know when this is going to come out, but if his album is already out, then I hope it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's
I'm
not,
looking forward to it.
Right? And if I post it before the 4th, then fingers crossed.
So that's what we wanted to talk about. Basically, witnessing Shawn Mendes' rise in front of our eyes.
And the documentary is a great example of how that happened. It was just, I loved seeing every single thing from the start to the stadium tour in Rogers Center, which I had tickets to, just by the way. Didn't go, had to sell them off, but it was very close. And then just seeing all of that in the span of 4 or 5 years was just insane.
Because I think what happens is that sometimes, because it's weird because I think of Shawn Mendes as just Shawn from high school, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, he's one of the biggest artists in the world right now.
Yeah.
So I think because for us, he's Shawn, we sometimes forget the magnitude of his success.
Yeah.
He is one of the biggest artists in the world right now. He's doing massive things. And that's what we wanted to talk about, his meteoric rise.
Yeah.
And us witnessing
Mediocre rise?
Meteoric.
Oh, meteoric rise. Okay.
Not a mediocre. He's a great artist.
He is. He's good. He's very good.
And I'm not just saying that because he's a fellow Pickering man. But
Exactly. Fellow Pine Ridge Puma.
Yeah.
But we have some notes down.
Yeah.
Right. Let's start with the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get introduced to Shawn Mendes? Because I had no idea who he was. For me, it was more you just came home one day and you were like, yo, this kid Shawn Mendes is going to be the next Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
He's in my school. He goes to gym class with me and he sings. I'm like, every other cartoon on YouTube is going to be the next Justin Bieber. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Next summer, Stitches comes out, blows everybody out of the park.
Yeah. Not even think, Stitches next summer, but his album came out, he got signed and everything within the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's so fitting that we're talking about this right now because around 6 years since I told you that, he just has a song out with Justin Bieber called Monster.
Exactly. That's the really weird part about fate. You were he's the next Bieber. And what did he say to that when you told him that?
So my first interaction with Shawn, I didn't know how big he was until, so we were in the same gym class. This was back in grade 10. So I'm talking about January of 2014. So we're still new to Canada.
It's been barely a year since we've been in Canada.
Barely a year. So we're still coming off of our FOBI stuff. That's when I came across him. And then somehow I find out that this guy's famous. He does covers.
So did you know he was famous when you met him?
Not really. I couldn't tell because everybody treats him like he's just normal. Yeah. And even when he was famous, he used to get millions of views on YouTube. Yeah. Nobody would really kind of bat an eye in high school.
Yeah, especially in high school. Nobody gave a shit about Shawn Mendes.
He would be walking in the hallways and it's whatever.
Yeah, I feel like people in Pickering, especially Pine Ridge, went out of their way to show how much they didn't care.
Yeah.
And that's still the case today. When I saw the documentary and I saw Pine Ridge and I saw Pickering and I saw him like literally like being like, yo, Pickering is amazing. This is what we talk about when we're talking about Pickering. And I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about, Shawn. But like when you tweet that out or you talk about it on social media, it's uncool. And I don't get that.
Yeah, no, I think for me or for both of us, it's been like, you know, we take full ownership of Shawn.
Oh yeah.
We went to the same high school.
Totally.
We often use that as clout. I've used that as clout. I had a case competition in January, and one of the questions that they asked as an icebreaker was, what's the most streamed song of 2019 on Spotify?
Yeah.
And I did not know this, but Shawn Mendes' song Señorita, featuring Camila Cabello, was the most streamed song.
Yeah, what, 1.2 billion views.
So I took that opportunity to make sure everybody knew that I went to high school with him. And I just as a proof, I always have my selfie with him that I took at graduation out. So I'm like, you know, here.
And you, again, you're finishing your story with Mendes. You met him in gym class.
I met him in gym class and I didn't know how famous he was. And then my birthday came around.
Yeah.
And one of our mutual friends wished me. And Shawn, I don't know why, I think he recognized me. He followed me.
Yeah.
And once he followed me, I started gaining random followers.
Yeah.
Like I gained like, I think 100 or 200 followers in like a month that he followed me.
Yeah.
I clicked on his profile and he had like over 500,000 followers.
At the time.
And then I kind of started looking into it and then I found out, okay, this guy does Vines, 7-second videos where he sings. He does YouTube covers that have hundreds of thousands of hits. And he's also part of this group of these young teenage guys called MacCon, which is like meet and greet convention.
So he currently has 57.6 million.
Yeah. So back then he had like 500,000.
Damn.
And what actually surprised me, like the magnitude of his success, was one of my friends in Pakistan. She used to like tweet about Shawn, like, "Hey, Shawn noticed me," and I was like, "What? You know this guy?" He's like, "Of course I know this guy."
Do you want to name drop her?
No. So, well, me and her were close friends. So,
yeah.
And I was like, okay, what if I told you that I'm in the same gym class as him and I see him every single day? And he's like, no way, what? And that's when I took my first picture with him. It was kind of awkward because, you know, we were in gym class and nobody does that, you know.
So you went up to him and you were like, Shawn, can I have a picture?
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, for sure, man, definitely. And then so I took the picture. I look hideous in that picture.
We're going to put it up.
We're going to put it up?
We're going to put it up.
I look hideous, but... can you blur my face out? Okay.
You have to keep it.
What I wanted to do was I wanted to like get him to like say happy birthday to my friend, but that we never got around to that. But yeah, my interaction with him in gym class was he was so down to earth. He was so humble. And me and him got talking around once and he found out that I'm new to Canada. And so he wanted to like know a lot about my background and where I'm from. And he was very shocked. And this is something that we both get very often is how are we new to Canada from Pakistan and we don't have an accent.
We have this accent. Like,
yeah.
For people here, we don't have an accent, but for people back home or from people anywhere else, we're like, oh, you have a proper English accent.
Yeah.
And we're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
because I think their concept of like Pakistan and Karachi is what they see in like Call of Duty.
Okay.
Or what they see of like what they
it's a very fobby, like, I mean, there's to some extent that is very true.
Yeah.
Like, that exists. But I think we're privileged enough to be like, okay, yeah, we went to a good school. We have the right amount of education, exposure to like Western culture to not have that fobby accent.
Yeah.
But,
so, I mean, getting back to it, and this was like same time, like when we were in gym class that whole semester, I think his success and the amount of viewerships he used to get on his covers that he used to do just skyrocketed. I remember one day he came in and the night before he posted a cover. It was Give Me Love by Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
And
great song.
That has like 5 million views now, but it got like a few 100,000 views, which was a huge deal.
I remember that.
For a high school kid in Pickering, Ontario.
I remember you showing me that because I was like, whatever. This kid, what is this all about? And then you showed me the video and he had like 450,000 views on that. And I was like, that's huge.
Yeah.
And that's when he came into my radar. So then after that, like I started like noticing him in school and he was very down to earth. He'd be in like drama class mostly at the gym, at the auditorium.
I've heard this from you, that you guys have shared urinals.
Okay, see, that's the thing. Now, this is the scoop that E-Magazine is looking for. I was in grade 11. You guys were in grade 9 or 10 at the time. Or maybe I was in 12. And so this was his last year in high school. And Miss Dort's class, that was the floor that had the bathroom. And he was, I think, in computer class or whatever. And so 9:40 a.m. was like, I had to go to the washroom at that time. That was my time to pee. Like, you could do nothing. I can't hold it.
We get it.
We have to go.
We get it.
Right? So at 9:35, I'm always like, Mr. Watt, can I go to the bathroom? And she was very accommodating. She was like, yeah, go ahead. Every day for one whole semester, 16, 17 weeks, Shawn Mendes and I went at the bathroom at the same time on the second floor of the old wing.
I'm not sure if many people can say that.
And so, I mean, it's a very exclusive experience. And so we used to go to the bathroom together. And I doubt he was already on my radar at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would be on the cubicle and he'd be at the urinal. And it would just be the two of us every single day. And he'd be humming or singing. Or he'd just be like, hey, brother, what's up? You know, as we're washing our hands. He's a very nice dude.
He used to say that a lot. Yeah.
He used to, every guy, like he'd be like, salutations, how are you?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay, cool dude, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was last semester he was in school.
That was last semester.
Right?
That was last semester. I never saw him after that.
I didn't see him after that either.
Yeah.
And that summer, Stitches came out and just
Life at the Party. His whole
Life
album
at the Party came out first,
Yeah.
and everybody was like that's how I was like, okay, this is a good song.
Yeah.
This is not like some weirdo pop trashy person. This is actually someone who's legitimately good. And then as he started writing his own material, 1 album, 2 albums, 3 albums, 4 albums in now.
Yeah.
We're like,
this is gonna sound cringy, but like one of the days in gym class where because our gym teacher was a basketball coach, so he was out with the team, so we were sent to like study hall where we used to like do assignments and stuff. So me and Shawn were there and we were just talking and I was like, Shawn, do you think you're gonna be the next Justin Bieber? And he's like, no, I'm gonna be the first Shawn Mendes. Kind of cringy, kind of cliched, but you know, I mean,
he just dropped a song with Justin Bieber last week. Monster. He is the first Shawn Mendes.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
He made it. Like the kid made it. That's why, I mean, the whole point of this background was not to like gloat, which is kind of, we kind of are, but whatever. But it was just to see like the humble beginnings of the guy. Like the documentary
and he
shows
was very confident.
That's the thing now.
Because if you
believed in himself, and that's the key. People take for granted the power of self-belief. Like that's something that I knew about him early on when you told me that Justin Bieber story, right? And when he started touring on his own, like he's 15, 16-year-old kid. He has like 4 songs out, but he's out there with a guitar singing his heart out, right? Exactly how Ed Sheeran did it. Look where they are now.
Yeah. I mean,
you need that.
He used to cover songs of Ed Sheeran, and now Ed Sheeran helps him write songs.
Yeah.
Falling All in You.
One of his best songs, by the way.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Written by Ed Sheeran.
Written by Ed Sheeran.
And that's the thing is, everything that he aspired to be, he crushed. He wanted to be the next mayor, left him in the, like, he's bigger than mayor for our generation. He wanted to be the next Ed Sheeran. Some would argue that he's bigger than Ed Sheeran. Some would argue that he's there. Some would argue that he's not. He's going to get there, but he's surpassed every goal that he probably had in his head because of his talent and self-belief.
Yeah.
And it was really humbling to see in his documentary that he still had anxiety and like self-doubt and all of that stuff. Like that's a part of an artist's journey. But that conviction that I will make it no matter what, there is no backup, there is no safety net.
That's what he says in the documentary as well, which is, you know, I like that he said that, is that, you know, when people sometimes ask him, what would you be doing if you weren't an artist? And he says, I don't know, because this is what I wanted to do. This was what I was born to do.
Yeah. And shout out to Miss Parker for giving me that confidence, man. Like, because
I had Miss Parker as my leadership teacher for the first time that the leadership course was offered in grade 10. And
how was she? I never had her.
She was so nice. She would be so supportive of everything.
Yeah.
And that was one of the best courses that I took in all of high school.
Yeah.
It really helped my public speaking and boosted up my confidence.
See, that's the thing. Good teachers like that, supportive teachers like that, they have a lasting impact.
Yeah.
Shout out to Miss Lewis, who helped my writing career. Like, she told me, you need to write. Like, you're good. You have potential. Do the work. Put in the words. You're going to be great. And when my book came out, I went to Miss Lewis. I was like, Miss Lewis, I want to give you a signed copy.
Sometimes high school teachers underestimate the power and impact that they can have.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And sometimes a student underestimate the impact and power that high school teachers have as well. Because we're just like, we just want to get through this. It's uncomfortable. My skin is breaking out. I don't want to be here. But there's value there that you're missing out if you don't, pay attention to it.
Yeah.
All right. So Stitches comes out. He's astronomical. He's not coming to high school anymore. There's always rumors that he's in Pickering, but he's never in Pickering. And cut to your graduation of high school. What happens?
Yeah, I mean, so since he never like completed school after grade 10, we weren't really sure if he would,
show up to your graduation.
Show up to our graduation, but turns out Pine Ridge gave him like a honorary diploma.
Yeah,
which I think is great for Pine Ridge's clout. If you go on Wikipedia, it says he graduated from Pine Ridge.
Mm-hmm. So if you go to Pine Ridge's principal, like the main office, there's his plaque is over there.
Yeah, his plaque is over there.
And I went there for my for my book signing, and I was like, "Where's my plaque? I sold a few hundred copies of my book. What's up?"
Yeah. So my high school graduation was June 2016.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I saw him, and the biggest shock to my core was when I saw him. I was like, and I went to say hi, and he's like, "Hey, Ahmed, what's up?" And I was like, "What? He remembers my name?"
Yeah,
my name.
And that's the thing. That's surprising because by the time he was such a big artist.
Yeah.
His second album was about to drop that fall, I think, or maybe very close to it.
Illuminate.
Yeah, I think Treat You Better was already out, and he was already like Shawn Mendes.
Yeah.
He was headlining his shows. He wasn't opening for Taylor Swift anymore. He was doing his own thing.
Yeah.
This guy was humbled enough and like down to earth enough to know that
he's like, "Hey, Ahmed, what's up?" And then he was like, "How are things for you in Canada now? Are you adapted to the winter?" So he remembered that I'm new to the country, and we had a good like a minute and a half conversation. He was kind enough to take a picture with me.
Yeah.
And he was like taking pictures with literally everybody who wanted to take a picture.
Now I was supposed to go out and get water for someone. I remember this do you remember this?
Yes.
Did you hear about this? So I was out on a quest, right? And I came out of the building and I saw, it was I think Scarborough Convention Center or whatever. And everybody was like, there was a whole like group of people outside the thing, and Shawn was there, and he was very humble and very nice, taking pictures with everyone. His parents were right behind him. His sister was there, and like he took time and took pictures with everyone. And I was like, I'm gonna take a picture with Shawn Mendes. Like
so you left your quest to take a picture.
I left my quest, which potentially could have harmed someone's health. And I was like, they'll survive. I went and I took a picture with Shawn. I congratulated him. I congratulated his mom. I was like, you guys, great. Congratulations. You're a big boy now. Go out and make great music.
And I think since then, he's just been able to, top himself. Like I think 2017, he did like an arena tour.
Yeah, and I take full credit for that.
Okay. So, and he did like shows at the Air Canada Centre, Madison Square Garden. He has an album from that on Spotify.
Live album, yeah.
So those are itself massive, massive achievements, right?
Yeah.
Because I think if you look at Shawn Mendes as a case study, there's hardly any artists out there like him.
No.
Like maybe you can say Billie Eilish.
Yes.
Is getting on that level.
Yeah.
And I think Shawn was lucky enough.
Shawn has no Grammys though. Billie has 5.
She has 5. And I think Shawn was lucky enough that, Justin Bieber was able to pave the way so that he was able to, see Justin's life and not make the same mistakes that he made while growing up.
Exactly. And that's so, like, the dichotomy of that is so interesting to me now that they're singing on the same song about fame and torture and that misfortune of being famous.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting to me. So do you want to get into the documentary? I mean, we kind of touched over it a little bit already. What did you think about it in Wonder?
I was very moved by it.
Right. And does that have to do with you being from Pickering and seeing Pickering and Whitby and Toronto and all that?
I mean, like knowing that somebody from our small town is able to make it, and to see the magnitude of, his success and what he's achieved.
Yeah. Same. For me, when I saw it, I was moved precisely for those reasons.
Yeah.
For someone trying to make it into the arts myself, I was like, does it happen to people like us? I've only been moved by like 2 people, like moved in an inspirational way. Like, of course, Mary moves me all the time.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran, a really good Fitzgerald book, Hemingway short stories. But like when I met Jan Martel, who was the first real writer,
the author of
Life of Pi, first real writer, author person I met, I was like, wait, you exist? This is something that actually people do that is not out of my circumference of like life. That moved me a lot. And when I met Mendes, and then seeing his astronomical rise and being like, this kid used to play cricket with my brother in gym class, and now he sold out Rogers Center. Yeah. 55,000 people. That's what Coldplay sold out.
I was very happy for him, but at the same time, I felt this like weird sense of relatability with him, where we want to be what Shawn wants, what Shawn wants and has, and at the same time he just wants to be
what we have.
Yeah, he wants to have a normal life where he can just
chill out.
Chill out.
That's what I felt at the graduation when everybody was hoarding him and like including myself. Like I'm guilty of this. But then he wanted to like just chill with his family. His family had to be really understanding as well, and they were like, you know what, to do your thing, and then we'll move on from there. But that's the thing that the documentary showed really well, is him being in his element, not the fame element, the element of him being as a person, like at his home with his friends, the tour bus, at his condo, which is still kind of weird. He's 21, he has a condo in Toronto.
Yeah.
Brilliant view.
Lives in front of the Rogers Center, and then he sells out the Rogers Center.
That's the dream.
That is goals.
That's what me and my friends like talk about. That's what we joke about all the time. And like when Kendrick and I are playing guitar or like singing, and we're like, "Thank you, Madison Square Garden," or "Thank you, Rogers Center." Like we do that as a joke, but he takes that and actually goes out and does it. I think that's so inspiring, especially for someone seeing that meteoric rise from the 450,000 views on YouTube to now like 1.9 billion or 1.6 billion for Senorita. It's insane.
Yeah.
He's like 4 billion streamed songs on Spotify.
He's the 11th most popular artist on Spotify.
More success to him, man. Like I really appreciate,
because he's making some really good music.
Yeah.
This is not just because he looks good or he has nice hair.
The thing is, okay, so here's the argument versus talent. Argument about talent versus hard work, right? So he's talented. He has the looks. He has the height. He has the voice. But that would take him X amount of lengths far. Yeah. He puts in the hard work. He learns like the chords that he was playing in his documentary. Those were jazz chords. Yeah. Those were 7th chords. Those were 9th chords. Those weren't the simple 4 chords that every single pop song is written by. Yeah. And you can hear that in Wonder. When you hear that lead single, you're like, this sounds fresh, but it kind of sounds retro at the same time, because he's advancing, he's growing as an artist, and I love that. Yeah, I agree with that, and I think he mentioned that as well. Like he has put in the hard work. Like he used to practice the guitar for hours and hours every day until his like fingers would literally bleed. And you have to do that. Like, am I jealous that he has a signed John Mayer guitar? 100%. Would I want it? 1,000,000%. Like I would die for that guitar, but he deserved it. Speaking of John Mayer, one of my dear friends, Uzair, he was very lucky enough to see the John Mayer show at the Budweiser stage in 2007. No, it was the Air Canada Center. Are you sure? 100% sure. Okay. 2017 Air Canada Center, because it was April. Okay. There was no way the Budweiser stage was open. It was at the ACC, and then John Mayer pulls up Shawn Mayer on the stage, and they perform. You said Shawn Mayer. I said Shawn. Freudian slip. Collab coming soon. Collab coming soon. Yeah. So yeah, they perform Mercy and In Your Atmosphere. Yeah. Yes. Beautiful. What can be better than that? Beautiful. I love that combination. And even John Mayer goes out and says like Shawn Mendes is everything that John Mayer is, but without the bad stuff. Yeah. Like he looks at Mayer's life and he's like, okay, I don't want to do that. He looks at Bieber's life. He's like, okay, I don't want to do that. I think he looks at Ed Sheeran's life and he's like, you know what? I think I want something like that. Yeah. Which is calm, grounded love that he has it from his partner. And then he can go out and be a rock star and be amazing at whatever he's doing. Yeah. I truly appreciate that, because that reflects in his music, the honesty and just the groundedness. I think that's one of the best parts about his music, and that's starting since his first album. Yeah. How honest he is in his lyrics. Like if you hear In Your Blood, right? He talks a lot about his anxiety and whatever he's going through. And the thing is, he doesn't shy away from wearing his inspirations on his sleeve. Like Ruin is Gravity. All right. I love that song. In Your Blood is Use Somebody. Right. There's so many. Ruin is also a little bit of Dear John, which is ironic, but like it's just like, a lot of his inspirations are just right there. Yeah. Like a lot of his acoustic numbers are like Ed Sheeran-esque. A lot of his like retro introspective songs are very John Mayer-ish. Like he doesn't shy away from being like, these are my inspirations. I'm gonna try and be like them. That's why I'm so excited to see what his 4th album entails, because I saw his playlist. Yeah. And it has like Frank Valli and Mayer and Prince and Oasis, Beatles. I'm like, what is this album gonna be if those are the things that you were drawing from? Kanye West, but I'm like, okay, sure. But you know, like all of these mixtures, I hope turns into something that I will listen to on repeat over and over again. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I think something that, you know, made me kind of sad while watching the documentary was like how much he's trying to like push himself to the limits. Yeah.
while he was on his world tour, and then he kind of like damaged his vocal cords.
Oh, that was sad.
That was so sad.
That was so sad.
That just shows like how delicate everything is.
And the thing is, they built it up really well as well.
Yeah.
Like they built up the whole. I think it was Argentina show, was it?
It was in Portugal.
Portugal show. Okay.
Brazil?
So I don't know. It was one of those Latin countries.
Brazil, I think.
They built Sao Paulo. Yeah. They built it up. Right. The documentary starts with that. They built the entire documentary to that moment just to pull him back.
Yeah.
And be like, he can't do it. He just can't do it.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that post on Instagram. I was like, okay, whatever. You know, shows get canceled all the time. Coldplay did it.
Yeah.
In Chicago, and that's fine. But then seeing the BTS, the behind the scenes of it, it was just devastating. I'm like, this is what goes into, like, that's so much pressure. The doors are about to open in 45 minutes. You have to make the call.
Yeah.
If you want to disappoint 60,000 people or not.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of, if you go on stage, you do this night, but then you're not able to do the next 7 nights.
And yeah. And even the effects that's going to have on his voice in the long run.
Yeah.
We've all seen what happened with John Mayer, like when he had his vocal issues.
Yeah, he never even toured Born and Raised. That's an album he never toured, and which is arguably one of his best albums.
Yeah,
didn't tour it.
So I think that he should definitely learn from that, and I think he has been. And it's just it's great to see success. It's great to see where he's been.
Yeah, it just gives us hope. Like we start this in our room. Like, this is my room.
Yeah,
this light is the only professional thing, and these mics are the only professional thing in this room.
Yeah.
We are literally noobs at this, and so was he. Yeah. And he started just like us. Maybe we could, at least our setup is better than Joe Rogan's. That's all I'm saying, right? If we're already ahead of Joe Rogan in that regard, it's just a matter of time until we reach that astronomical fame or astronomical heights of success. And it's just inspiring to me in that way. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree. That's definitely something that's like, it does give you that inspiration.
Yeah.
And I know like a lot of people from my high school, like people who I went to school with, they're starting like different things as well.
Yeah. And like, I love to see that. I love to see people
doing. It's great to see it. Yeah.
Like straying away from the 9 to 5 and be like, you know what? I like X, Y, Z. I'm going to go pursue it. Yeah. I love seeing that because, okay, not everybody is allowed or is going to be the next Shawn Mendes, right? But you can be as close to that as possible by being you.
Yeah.
And Mendes showed that by saying upfront to you, like, no, I'm not going to be the next Bieber, bro. I'm going to be something different, unique. I'm going to be me. And I love that. It's just, How does this documentary hold up to the other music documentaries that you've seen? Coldplay's "I Full of Dreams," Oasis "Supersonic." I don't know if you've seen the Taylor Swift one, but that was pretty good too.
I have not. But I think this one rates like it's pretty high up there in my top lists because I think it has to do with a lot of the personal ability with it, like and how much I can relate to what it is.
Plus, we know the kid; he grew up with us. We saw the rise of it. But if you wanted to be objective. Would you recommend this to people?
I would definitely recommend this
because I have recommended it to friends and they loved it.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're from Canada, if you're from like Toronto, Pickering, definitely watch.
Check it out. Yeah.
Check it out.
There's so many references of Toronto and Canada.
A lot of references. And I think I'll watch it again.
Right?
Yeah,
I think so too. I showed it to my dad, like a few scenes, and he was into it. He was like, "Yo, that's this kid. I remember this kid." I remember when he was in graduation when they announced like what everybody's gonna do in the future, right? So he already, like, people were like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a doctor, I'm gonna be a nurse, I'm gonna be an electrical engineer," and his announcement was, Shawn Mendes is gonna go pursue his passion for music, and there was like a loud applause and everything.
He had already begun his journey way before that. So.
Yeah, and I love to see that. I love to see that. I love to hear that.
More success to him.
Yeah, man. What's the final thoughts? What are you thinking, Shawn Mendes?
I'm looking forward to his new album. Honestly, there was like a few snippets of a few of his songs in the documentary. They sound very catchy.
Sound very honest as well.
Yeah.
The writing style was very different, less poppy, more introspective.
Yeah.
Like something like Born and Raised meets folklore meets like, ghost stories.
Yeah.
Type thing.
And Shawn is he's not hesitant to experiment.
Yes.
And try out new things.
Yeah.
And I think that's partly because he already has an audience. People are very open to listen to whatever kind of music that he releases.
Yeah. And every time he releases a new project, I'm always excited to see where it's heading because it's always a step further into betterness. Like it's not going back. Like he's not backtracking on something. He's always moving forward. And that's the sign of a great artist. Like if you take someone's discography, like if you take Coldplay's discography, they started with Parachutes, they ended with A Head Full of Dreams or Everyday Life, right? There's a whole arc there that you can see the ups and downs. So that's how it is. That's how it should be. Like if you're just homogenous, then you're just of that time.
Yeah.
And I love that he's experimenting and he's moving on and taking chances. And I hope.
And yeah, I think
I give him the best.
like he acknowledges that the fact as well that these are his prime years.
Yeah.
And
Like an athlete, bro.
I can only see himself like him, propelling
Yeah.
in the industry. So
When is he gonna come on the pod?
soon enough.
People want to know.
Soon enough.
Really?
Yeah.
He's coming on the pod. We're manifesting it into our future. We're gonna make it happen. Punch Pumas, all on one table. Is he gonna be here? Is he gonna come in studio?
I'm not sure.
But we can get him on Zoom.
Let's aim for him coming in studio and then
Yes, like whenever he's in Pickering, Shawn. Whenever you're in Pickering, hit us up, man.
yeah,
You know where we are.
we live like 10 minutes away from you.
Literally. And with that positive note of success and awesomeness and inspiration, this is Nazar Sayed signing off. Check us out on all the social medias: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter.
You can also stream this on audio platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Google Podcasts,
All that good stuff.
Buzzsprout.
And that's everything from me, man.
Yeah, me too, man.
Nice setup. I like it.
Same here. This is ABS out.
This is Nazar Sayed out, and we will see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.